Informal definition time. An informal definition of a limit would be when you have a function f of x that is open, defined over an open interval that is around x naught, meaning you have this is defined over some interval, let's say x minus 1 and x1, and x naught is in there. Except for, let's say, x naught. X naught might not be defined. We don't know, okay? But we say something is a limit of another thing if when we get close to x naught, f of x is approaching L. For example, if we get close to x naught, x0, from the negative direction, it's approaching L. This number is approaching, from the negative direction, is approaching L. And then if we approach from the positive direction, that is also approaching L. And then we would say then that the limit, we don't write the, of f of x when x is approaching x naught, like 0, is equal to L. Because whenever we get closer and closer to x naught, but not actually getting to x naught, for both sides, from both the negative side and the positive side, we get the same number. We're approaching the same number, L. And this doesn't have to be true if there's cases where, like, we have a function that looks like this. So y, it looks like this, or like this. And as we want to see what happens as we get closer and closer to 0, right? As we get closer and closer to 0, this one goes down, 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 but never touches, will never touch the, asymptote with the y-axis. And this will asymptote in the y-axis in the positive direction, but this one's going down in the negative direction. So these will be in approaching two different numbers. They're going to go opposite and infinite in two different directions. So this, as we approach 0, wouldn't have a limit. There wouldn't be a limit because they both have to approach L. Another example could be let's say this is a straight line. As we define every x, what we get is, let's say, y, this y right here, until we reach right here, and then we get this. On the positive x, we get this. It goes on for infinity, and this one goes on for infinity. As we approach it from this side, we're going to get this y, and as we approach it from this side and get closer and closer to 0, we're going to get this y. They're going to be two different y's. They're going to be two different y's, or two different l's. So this x, as x approaches 0, will not have a limit because they're not going to be approaching the same L. And this is more of an informal definition. This isn't a concrete one, but it's good enough for now. It's good enough for now for your intuition. Okay, stay in school.